Hi guys, my name is Epele and I graduated nursing school at the beginning of May. I actually took my NCLEX last week, June 13th, and 2 days after I had bought the Purdue quick results and found out that I had passed. I made this video so that I'm able to share the resources that I use in order to pass the NCLEX, and I find it extremely important for us healthcare workers to stick together, honestly. And before I get into that, I'm just going to talk a little bit about myself, the type of student that I was, like a little bit about my school. And if you're not interested in watching that aspect of the video, you can skip and get to the part where I do talk about the resources that I did use. For starters, I was a B student. My school's passing rate was a 70%, and if a 70% was what I needed, I mean, I aimed for higher, but B's get degrees also. So yeah, and my school has a high passing rate for the NCLEX, and I was kind of worried that what if I was that person that lowers it. My cohort, a lot of them were already in the healthcare, so they were like kind of knowledgeable on that aspect, and with me it was just like not sticking, or like it would take a little bit longer for things to stick. At the end of my program, we had this NCLEX review, and this lady had came in, and it was a great experience. This lady had came in, and it helped me view questions differently, but after that, I totally forgot what she had told us in the review. But we had actually used the comprehensive NCLEX review book, and while there, I was on it. I was taking notes and reviewing and all that. But after the 2 days, it was from 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. And after that, I did not look at this book again. I kid you not. Maybe like once or twice. But I barely used this book when I was studying for the NCLEX. In my school, they had made us do this study guide. Not really a study guide, this like study schedule. And what I had put on there, boy, I was so determined. I was like, I'm gonna do this every single day. But you know, you get tired over time. And I did not do that. I did not do it. I can also put on here a copy of what I had thought I was gonna do, but I did not do that at all. So yeah, so let's get to what I actually did do and the resources that I had used. So I had used all these resources, and let us start with Mark Clemens. So with me, I have to, I watched his videos twice. The first time I watched it, I took my own notes, like handwrite them, yeah, I like on paper pen, like I am a paper pen type of person. I had handwritten them because I feel like it sticks better in my head. And the first time I had watched it, I was doing one video a day because, oh my gosh, those things were long. And I don't know, while doing that, these are my notes. This is the NCLEX review. I highly recommend watching the priority delegation video. If you can't watch all 12 videos, I highly recommend watching the prioritization delegation video. It helped a lot, honestly. So these are my notes. Some of it's kind of coming off. My sticky notes don't really stick on there anymore. I don't know if you guys can see that. But yeah, so the first time I watched it, I took my own notes, and that's really it. The second time I watched it, it was like the third, like 2 weeks before I took my NCLEX, and rewatching it honestly helps everything stick. Like, I don't know, like the first time you're watching it, you're just watching it to take the notes. and not everything, you don't really catch everything. And I also had used another, jeez, and I had also used another set of NCLEX notes where it came with like his booklet that, I don't know, I can share that with you guys also, or just send me your email and all, and I can send that to you.
No speakable content could be found on the screen.
What? Anyway, I'm sorry about that. So yeah, I watched his videos twice, and I honestly, after watching his videos, I was able to knock those questions down. Because the first day, I mean, let me not get ahead of myself. So yeah, I had used his. The next set of resources I used was Archer. So I had started Archer, let me see, and I'm going to share with you guys my screen and what I'm looking at. My first test that I had taken was on the on the 10th or 11th, I'm not sure, but when I go into it, I'll see the 10th or 11th. That's a week after I finished school. And when I tell you, when I saw the percentage I had gotten, I was devastated. I was like, what? But over time, your scores get better. So if you see like a really low score, don't be discouraged. Just keep going, keep pursuing. You're gonna get through it. With Archer, I was told that it's more similar to the NCLEX, which it honestly was. It was much simpler to the NCLEX than Uworld was. I also found that with Archer, you are allowed to take more than one readiness assessment. You can take as many as you want. And what I did was every 3 days I took a readiness assessment. And with their policy or whatever, it says that if you do 4 consecutive high or very high scores, you will pass. Your passing rate is going to be like 99%. And honestly, while doing it, I got high. My first one I did was borderline. I was mostly in borderline and high, but while taking it consecutively, I had gotten 2 highs, 1 very high, and my last one, like a couple days before my NCLEX, I got borderline. I was like, oh my god, like should I continue? I don't know, I just reassured myself that I can do this. 1 borderline is not going to extremely affect my score. So yeah, the other resource I used was Uworld, and I know that there's been a whole lot of talk about Uworld, but for me, I basically used it for its content, basically, because I know that Uworld has the explanations and rationales compared to Archer completely different. Archer is just like straight to the point that this is not it. But in Uworld, it tells you why something is not right. And I really like how it had pictures, so I use that as well. It's more expensive. And with Uworld, what I did was, after I did 75 questions on Archer, I just chose areas where I knew I was weak on, and I did questions on those and read the rationales, because that helps everything sink in. So yeah, so those are the 3 resources I highly recommend to you. There are some days where I did use Level Up RN or Simple Nursing. There were some days where I did use their videos, but not really. So I would do the questions in like test mode, basically, where after you take a test, it tells you, after you do a question, it tells you if you got the question wrong or right, and then you read the rationale then and there. And I then found out, like, my 3rd weekend, that doing it where you're on like, you're not on the test mode, like just doing the questions, all the 75 questions, and then seeing your results after, kind of builds, not builds, it kind of increases your score. Because just think of this, if every single question you're seeing, oh, and you get something wrong, you're gonna think to yourself, oh my, like it just lowers your self-esteem, and that's not going to help you improve your scores, because you're thinking, oh my gosh, I got that last question wrong, what if I get this one wrong? So in terms of like your first 3 weeks or first 2 weeks of studying, you would possibly want to do the test mode where you would see the answers right after. But after that, try to switch to just taking the 75 questions and then reviewing after. But anyway, so after I did do that, I then went to the results, and I saw the three sections of what I did incorrectly, what I got the most questions wrong in. And with that, I then did 25 questions on each of those sections and reviewed those. It's really important to review. You got to read the rationales, or else doing questions is important, yes, but without reading the rationales, nothing is sinking in your head, honestly. Rationales are important. You got to read the rationales and try to do at least 75 questions a day. Like if you don't want to do the 25 questions that you do after, that's totally fine, but at least try to do 75 questions a day, or like have a rest day where you don't do any questions. That could be helpful as well. That's what I did. But yeah, that's what I did. After the 75 questions, I then reviewed it and then chose 3 sections where I got the most questions wrong in, and then I did 25 questions on Uworld, because Uworld is more the rationales are more in depth than Archer. So with the 75 questions from Archer, I then did 25 questions on Uworld, each different section, and I can show you guys the video like later on. So yes, that's what I did. And honestly, another test taking tip is that to believe in yourself, honestly. If you keep doubting yourself, saying that, oh, what if I don't pass? That, I don't know, that kind of like leaves, I mean, it's good to think about if you don't pass, but don't constantly tell yourself, keep asking yourself, what if I don't pass? Just keep reassuring yourself that I'm going to pass. Manifesting is the key, honestly. I kept telling myself, I'm gonna pass on my first try. I can do this. I know more than I know, honestly, because you have been in nursing school for a long time and you've learned everything. And in this 1 month or however long you're gonna take to studying, I don't believe there's much information that you can keep adding. Another test taking tip is, I find it extremely helpful not to like fully rely on content, because you're not going to know everything. And while watching Mark Clemix, I've learned that like you're not going to know everything. The NCLEX keeps getting harder and harder as you get the questions correct. So there's going to be times you're not going to know what the answer is. So I feel like it's really important to have good test taking techniques. And I feel like with Mark Clemix, that honestly helped break down every single thing, honestly. Yeah. And just believe in yourself, honestly. You can do this. You know more than enough. You know more than you think you know. It's just a matter of fact of believing in yourself and passing the NCLEX, because I know you can. yeah, so I just want to say thank you guys for watching my first ever video. Hopefully I am able to have more content for you guys, and feel free to also let me know what you guys would want to watch. I just want to say thank you. I hope you subscribe and like my videos, and make a comment and let me know when you're taking your test date, and hope you pass like I know you guys will. Thank you.